What a dramatic turn of events. That's honestly the best way to describe the recent tension between Elon Musk's SpaceX and NASA's leadership. After years of collaboration, years of shared ambition to return humans to the moon, something has changed. Behind closed doors, a quiet storm has been building. And now, it's out in the open. At the heart of this growing conflict lies one critical decision: NASA's plan to reconsider or even replace SpaceX's human landing system for Artemis III, the same system, Starship HLS, that was supposed to take American astronauts back to the lunar surface. For SpaceX, it's a direct challenge. For NASA, it's a moment of caution. And for the future of Artemis, it's a defining test. Welcome to Beyond Orbits, where we explore the biggest stories shaping humanity's journey into space. This is the story of Elon Musk versus NASA, the Starship HLS controversy that could change Artemis forever. To understand the conflict, we have to go back to 2021. That's when NASA made one of its boldest decisions in decades, awarding SpaceX a $2.9 billion contract to develop a lunar lander version of Starship, known as the Human Landing System, or HLS. It was a surprise move. Many expected a split award between SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Dynetics, but NASA went all in on Starship, betting everything on Starship's ambitious promise, a fully reusable, next-generation spacecraft that could deliver astronauts to the moon and one day, even to Mars. The idea was revolutionary. Starship would be launched from Earth, refueled in orbit, and then descend to the lunar surface, carrying the first humans to walk on the moon in over 50 years. It was the vision of the future, and NASA embraced it. But as the years passed, that vision started to collide with the harsh realities of rocket development. Starship's test campaign at Boca Chica, Texas, proved how difficult the road would be. Explosions, delays, and redesigns, each one bringing lessons but also pushing the timeline further away. Meanwhile, NASA was under pressure. The Artemis program, meant to return humans to the moon by 2025, was already facing political, financial, and technical challenges. And as the schedule slipped, doubts began to grow. By late 2024, cracks in the partnership began to show. NASA started questioning whether SpaceX could realistically deliver a fully flight-ready HLS Starship on time for Artemis III. Behind the scenes, reports began surfacing that NASA was exploring backup options. That meant reconsidering the role of other contractors, perhaps even reintroducing Blue Origin or other aerospace partners as alternatives. For SpaceX, this was nothing short of betrayal. They had invested billions of dollars and years of engineering effort into HLS, pushing Starship through iteration after iteration. Elon Musk himself insisted that SpaceX would meet NASA's deadlines, but the agency wasn't convinced. Internally, NASA engineers voiced concerns about Starship's complexity, especially the orbital refueling process. Starship would need multiple tanker launches to fill its fuel tanks before heading to the moon. That's a level of logistical complexity never before attempted. And from NASA's perspective, that meant risk. NASA's leadership began floating the idea of alternate landing concepts, a phrase that sent shockwaves through the spaceflight community. Was NASA really preparing to replace Starship?
Elon Musk did not take the hints lightly. In true SpaceX fashion, the company doubled down on progress. They accelerated Starship's test campaign, improved booster recovery, and unveiled ambitious timelines that would have seemed impossible anywhere else. In a recent statement, Musk reaffirmed SpaceX's commitment to Starship HLS, saying, "Starship is the most capable vehicle ever built, and it will land humans on the moon before this decade is over." And indeed, recent tests at Starbase showed significant progress. Each flight brought Starship closer to full reusability, from successful stage separations to controlled splashdowns. But even with visible progress, NASA's confidence seemed shaken. Officials within the agency reportedly worried that even if Starship reached operational status, integrating it into the Artemis timeline could be a logistical nightmare. This created an unprecedented standoff. NASA, the customer, unsure of its contractor, and SpaceX, the contractor, feeling undermined by its customer.
NASA's position is complicated. On one hand, they know that Starship represents the future, the most advanced, most powerful, and most ambitious spacecraft ever conceived. On the other hand, the agency is tasked with ensuring astronaut safety and mission reliability, and that means minimizing risk. The Artemis program is not just a mission, it's a symbol, a test of American capability, unity, and technological leadership in space. A failure would have political and global consequences. So NASA has begun quietly exploring alternatives. That could mean smaller, more traditional landers, possibly using existing systems derived from the Apollo or Orion infrastructure, or even a multi-vendor model where SpaceX and another company share the responsibility. But this approach introduces new risks too: cost overruns, schedule confusion, and technical incompatibilities. It's a classic space industry paradox: safety versus innovation, reliability versus ambition. Artemis III was supposed to be the mission that brought humans back to the moon, the first crewed lunar landing since 1972. The plan was simple on paper: launch Orion and SLS with astronauts, rendezvous with Starship HLS in lunar orbit, and descend to the surface. But now, that plan is under review. If NASA decides to delay or replace Starship, Artemis III could slip years into the future, possibly beyond 2028. For SpaceX, such a move would be a massive blow, not just financially, but symbolically. Starship is not just another rocket. It's Elon Musk's vision of the future of spaceflight. It's the foundation for everything SpaceX aims to achieve: Mars colonization, interplanetary travel, and the dream of a multi-planetary civilization. So if NASA steps back now, it could reshape the entire trajectory of human space exploration. The world is watching. SpaceX and NASA's partnership has always been a cornerstone of the modern space era. Together, they've achieved incredible milestones: Crew Dragon flights, commercial resupply missions, and the creation of a new era of private-public collaboration. But this conflict reveals the growing tension between two different philosophies. NASA represents caution, precision, and safety, built on decades of experience. SpaceX embodies boldness, speed, and risk, fueled by innovation and private ambition. These two forces have always needed each other. NASA provides legitimacy, oversight, and funding. SpaceX provides momentum, creativity, and capability. But when those forces clash, progress slows. If SpaceX and NASA fail to align, it won't just delay Artemis. It could threaten the United States' position in the new global space race, especially as China moves forward with its own lunar landing program. So, what comes next? NASA has not yet made a final decision on Starship's role in Artemis III, but the coming months will be critical. The agency will evaluate SpaceX's progress in upcoming Starship test flights, particularly the demonstration of orbital refueling and precision lunar descent. If those milestones succeed, Starship HLS could still fly as planned. If not, NASA may pivot to a backup plan. For Elon Musk, the message is clear: deliver or risk being replaced. For NASA, the choice is just as difficult. Stay the course with innovation or retreat to familiarity. Either way, the future of Artemis and the dream of returning humans to the moon hangs in the balance. The partnership between SpaceX and NASA has always been a balance of trust, ambition, and necessity. Now that balance is being tested like never before. If Starship succeeds, it will mark a new era of human exploration, one built not by government alone, but through collaboration with bold private visionaries. If it fails, the world will remember this moment as the turning point, when ambition outpaced caution. One thing is certain, the next chapter of Artemis will define the legacy of both SpaceX and NASA for decades to come. And as we watch this story unfold, one question remains: will humanity's next giant leap come from unity or from conflict? This is Beyond Orbits, and this was Elon Musk versus NASA, the Starship HLS controversy that could change Artemis forever. Until next time, keep looking up.